Hey, what's up? This is Jay here. And I just wanted to talk about something today pertaining to Hollywood. Um, I just heard about the reboot thing. Not a reboot, but it's this cinematic combining of King Kong and Godzilla. King Kong versus Godzilla that Warner Brothers is doing. And it got me thinking about the whole cinematic universe thing that everybody in Hollywood's trying to pull off now. And I'm gonna be honest, it's hacky. Alright? And I think that everybody in Hollywood needs to stop trying to do this because it's not gonna work. And the reason it's not gonna work is very simple. It works for the cinematic universe, and the only other franchise that it can work for is the DC cinematic universe. Now, why is this? Why is it that people on YouTube and people that make videos, or just the average film moviegoer like myself, can answer this question where studio executives can't? Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll tell you why. The reason that the Mummy Dark Universe franchise didn't take off, and the reason you can't make a Ghostbusters cinematic universe, and all this other crap that they're trying to build, all these cinematic universes, is that simply they don't work for the reason that the Marvel Cinematic Universe does work. And the reason that the cinematic universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, does work is very simple. And that is that the medium that it is based off of works just the way it's working in the movies. What I mean when I say that is that in the medium that they got the Marvel Cinematic Universe from, which is comic books, all the characters in those comic books are in the same universe. They all cross paths. They all go on adventures together. They have crossover events. The medium on which the Marvel Cinematic Universe is based does that. That's why it works. It's organic. Now, for everybody else to be trying to make cinematic universes out of God knows what, that's why they're failing. I mean, you're trying to make a Godzilla versus King Kong movie? What are you, freaking kidding me? You want to make a Ghostbusters cinematic universe for what? You want to make Star Wars is now trying to piggyback off of what Marvel's doing, and now they're trying to make a cinematic universe. Well, these little side movies that nobody really asked for. Everybody said Rogue One was a great movie. That movie put me to sleep. It took me two sessions to get through that entire movie. Alright? I thought it was not a great movie. As far as Solo goes, I don't think anybody asked for an origin story. If there's one origin story I wouldn't mind seeing, it's the origin story of Obi-Wan Kenobi, because Ewan McGregor did a good job portraying him in the prequels. But now that you can't even make a cinematic universe out of Star Wars, because that's not the way it works. The medium off of which Star Wars is based is not even another medium. It's a movie. It was a movie trilogy first. And now they're trying to branch off with all these movies, which says to me that these suits are so out of touch and greedy that they just want to make a cinematic universe for the sake of making one, just because they see Marvel do it and it makes $1 billion, not knowing the underlying reason that the movies are making so much money. So that's the main reason. The reason that it works in the movies is because the medium that it's based off of which is the comic books, does the same thing. In the comic books, Captain America and Iron Man and Spider-Man all go on adventures together. They interact. There are events where they cross over. That's why it works. And then you have Universal trying to make a dark universe with the Invisible Man and the Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, who gives a crap? Nobody. So if any executives ever get a hold of this video, which they won't, but if they ever did, maybe you would know why it doesn't work. And it's not gonna work. Like I said, the only other franchise that has a chance of making a good, successful cinematic universe is DC, because it's based off the same medium that Marvel Comics is based off of, and in the comic books, all the characters in DC interact as well. They have crossover events as well. Apart from that, I don't see any of those cinematic universes working, and I don't see this King Kong versus Godzilla movie working either. Maybe if it's got a good script and it's well executed, yeah, maybe it'll work, but on paper it still sounds like a stupid idea. And that brings me to the idea of reboots, period. I mean, what the heck is wrong with Hollywood, where it's like you want to play it so safe now that everything has to be an established property and we can't have any more original properties anymore. I mean, every time I turn around there's a new reboot. I mean, what is going on? A new Terminator already? I hate to break it to you guys, but Terminator stopped being good after Terminator 2. Terminator 3 was not a good movie. Terminator Salvation was not a good movie. Terminator Genesis was a mess. Every time I turn around, there's a reboot. The It reboot, fine. It did good. I wouldn't have greenlit it, but fine, it did good. But every time I turn around, there's another reboot. Where did the whole reboot concept come from? I'll tell you where the whole reboot concept came from. Excuse me. The reboot concept was not even a concept. All right, rebooting was something that people would have thought of as cheating. It's almost like when you say that, oh, well, Batman v Superman came out and it sucked. And then everybody wants to release the Snyder cut. Oh, release the extended cut because the theatrical cut sucked. I got news for you, dude. If you can't get it right in the theatrical cut, then it's over. If you cannot get it right the first time, you got one chance to release your movie and to have it come out right. And if it doesn't turn out right in the theatrical cut, that's it. There's no, oh, there's a extended cut or a Snyder cut out there somewhere. Release that. I mean, what is that? You don't get a mulligan. That's just the way it works in the movie business. And reboots weren't even a thing. Reboots became a thing when Sony botched the last installment of the original Spider-Man trilogy and then decided, oh, okay, we're going to pull the plug and reboot the Spider-Man franchise. That was the origin of the reboot. Ever since then, people have been rebooting movies left and right. But if I have to trace this whole reboot phenomenon to a particular genesis, it was right there. And now it's the reboot of the Nightmare on Elm Street, and they want to make another Jason movie. Now there's another Rambo movie coming out. I mean, what else is being rebooted? I can't even. There are so many reboots. Tomb Raider. I mean, it's left and right. I mean, the whole reboot thing is being done. I get it, because there's suits in Hollywood and they want to be safe now and they want to make money. Well, guess what? It's getting to the point where these reboots are getting tired and people don't even want to see this stuff anymore. As proof by some of the recent releases that we have seen that have just completely bombed. So if my advice to Hollywood is go back to the 90s or the 80s and start looking for some more original properties, because this reboot stuff is really getting tired, and quit with the cinematic universes. It's not going to happen. I just got done saying the only reason it worked for Marvel is because the medium it was based off of. Alright? I don't even think it's going to work for Star Wars. I mean, they're going to make one more Star Wars movie and they're going to shelf that. So, Hollywood, if you're listening, get back to some more original properties. Thanks.